Well, hello, creatives, community, and kind folks. Welcome to RPG with DBJ. I am your host, DBJ, and normally we tend to talk tabletop role playing games, but more often than not, we segue off into pop culture and things that are uh, within the zeitgeist. And we're going to talk about AI and how we are self hypnotizing ourselves. We're becoming a cult of one with AI being our chosen cult leaders, as well as we're going to talk about the efficiency paradox, which for some reason is both being accepted by the mass uh, Fortune 500 top companies and CEOs in the world, and yet each of them are stepping just a little bit closer to the cliff and wondering where society is going to be, and will there be a new authenticity economy coming up where we get to see things like, oh, I don't know, um, socks being darned and uh, grilled cheese sandwiches being grilled and legends of, oh, I don't know, someone ironing their own shirt or watering their own plants. I don't know. It's kind of weird to say that, but you'll understand. First of all, uh, let's get into our intro. Get your snacks, put your feet up, bring your brilliance, light a match for that mind fuel, and we will get into it. So, it's kind of funny how the influx of AI is bringing about um, so many of our fictional dystopias that we're kind of running out of space. Like, we're running out of shelf space for the dystopian future, and which dystopian is going to come first. I mean, for those of us that collect a ton of tabletop role playing games, and you get that bookshelf that starts to bend in the middle, and you've got to take all the books off and then flip the shelf over to get the bend back in. I feel like there's a new dystopia around the corner. So we're going to start backwards here. Hey, Spook, what's going on? Um, yeah, it's so bizarre. So we're going to start backwards. We're going to talk about the efficiency paradox. I made that up. Um, uh, Rest assured, put a little asterisk. I'm the one that coined the phrase. The whatever. It's I didn't make it up, but the efficiency paradox is this idea that um Drew says, I would say the age of authenticity is over already. Watch the YouTube channel Carefree Wandering. That is about philosophy, and especially about philosophy of identity. And man, it feels like the AI slop is washing everything away. Um, we're getting as many new specific AI tools that we're getting. It's also being there's a wave of slop coming behind it that's like like the fake music channels, the fake, very cultural and racially um I'll say uh, identified videos out there that are both making fun yet showing a dark side of the behaviors of people out there, and how social media has um, trained us to do the most basically trained us to do the most um, to be the most elaborate, ignorant, worst behaviors. And now the AI systems have learned from that, and there are people who are garnering millions of views by making these fake channels that are producing AI voice and video based on the behaviors of other people that are so ridiculous that now people are mad that it's actually reflecting off of us, yet it's learning from the same behavior. It's wild. You didn't miss anything. I mean, I don't know. And of course, being flooded with all this AI slop means that every other AI system, as we mentioned before, is learning from the exact same slop. And it's like the dead internet thing. It's like, well, the dead internet conspiracy is being driven into truism. I don't know. Brutus is here and completely, I think Brutus is being distracted by his sister somewhere in the back. So, efficiency paradox. Um, I the efficiency. I'm reading this out, by the way, because I created it, so I guess it created it for me. The efficiency paradox of AI-driven job loss and its potential impact on consumer demand is a significant concern. The paradox highlights the possibility that while companies use AI and automation to increase efficiency and reduce costs, i.e., yeah, this could lead to job losses and consequently a decline in consumer purchasing power. The idea, of course, being that every single major company is trying to eliminate the most expensive asset every company has, which is people. Paying people is is the most cost and time consuming thing any company has. And this idea of like generating new jobs and whatnot, that's created by demand. There is no company that wants to hire more people. They just happen to have to do it to increase their profits. If they can eliminate job hirees or their staff, then they become more efficient. They save more money, i.e., how do you get rich? You either make more money or have less overhead, which are people. But if you eliminate all the high wage earners who buy all the products and pay for all the services, then who buys any of that stuff? It would be like a completely automated automobile manufacturer that makes these high-end, super efficient cars great. Um, Slow clap for creating these cars, but who's going to buy them if there's nobody left to pay for them? And if every company does it, and every company's trying to do it, who's left to pay for those things? And it's a paradox that literally the CEOs are talking about. Like they're it's not like a memo that somebody found in a trash can or something. Like they're literally like, well, you know, this is going to be a problem and everyone's waiting for somebody else to fix it. And it's like we're driving towards universal basic income whether we like it or not, or we just have a new economy, and everyone opts out. I don't know. Yeah, Shai says AI slop or preponderance of really dumb clickbait content by real meatbags, which is a bigger threat. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it's you know, they're every person that is in the cult of AI that's telling us that we need to embrace it and it's the new thing and you're not going to survive without it. Um, is basically saying that not only is it making us, I mentioned it before, if it's worth, humans are like, if it's worth doing, it's worth overdoing. And it's like, no, I'm not just going to make one YouTube channel. I'll make like 50 or 100 or 1,000 YouTube channels, all pumping out slop. And if everyone's doing that, then it's as if no one is doing it, right? Like it's, and some of these some of the AI slop that's being produced is getting a lot of clickbaity, million views and whatnot, dumb things like, I don't know, a puppy saving a little baby and taking care of it on a deserted island and things like that, um, dogs and cats diving into pools of water and all, and it's like it's distracting because people are like, oh, cute, but there are real life people being supplanted by all the AI stuff, and the conspiracy of a dead internet is coming true because it's difficult to search through all the real um authentic individuals who have something to say or do or be creative, and of course all the the real humans that crest to the top are like trying to tread water, but again they're being pushed back down again by all the crabs that are walking on top of them trying to get to the top again. And it's just crazy. And the this efficiency paradox of the companies wanting to get rid of humans with AI is spreading to every other aspect of our lives, whether it's um, layout and design or graphic design or creating writing. We're seeing like a huge influx of writers now using AI, and it's like it, there's a smoothing happening that I think all of us creative types are um, we're drowning in it, right? It's like it's finding out that all of your favorite places to eat food are all tasting the same. It's all got the same cardboard tasting. You're like, I used to enjoy this, but oh, um, dare I say, even our brains are what's the term? The uncanny valley. They've used the term uncanny valley when it comes to seeing images that aren't quite human. But I have a feeling that our uncanny valley is spreading to other things, uh, whether it's sound, images, writing. There's something in our head that clicks and goes, "This isn't. This doesn't. This doesn't seem quite right." And I think it's giving us like micro headaches headaches or like microaggressions where we're just getting like annoyed by it, and maybe we're subconsciously feeling it, where after after we're seeing the AI slop after slop after slop, we're just like, what the fuck is going on in my brain? Jesus. And we have to turn it off or turn away from it or something. Yeah, there's a band out called the Velvet Sundown or something that's got like 300,000 views or whatever, and they've only existed for 2 weeks, and no one can prove that they actually exist. Yeah, Spook says, Harry Swoller in the Chamber of Gains is an AI masterpiece that has earned every one of those views. Oh man, Chamber of Gains. Because I still only see approximately 90% of dumb shit by real meatbags across my feed on YouTube. AI Slop hasn't even come close to taking over my feed yet. Well, it's getting there. It's getting there. It's getting there. But I wanted to combine this with this is the other weird thing. The, Many of us are seeing AI slop, but at the same time, we are we are coming into an age where I see AI is giving us a thing that we've never seen before, and that is, um, I don't think humanity has ever had the experienced being given a thing that fulfills all of your needs. And it's so enticing, so hypnotizing. I'm using the term hypnotizing. I guess a better one would be cult like addiction, that we've never seen this before. And yes, I'm talking about, or going to refer to AI companions and replicas and friendships and relationships, but I'm also going to refer this and have this blend into um, this idea of AI being our um, perfect answer for all of our problems. And I see some people that are out there that are in the cult of AI, basically telling everyone, AI is going to solve all of our problems. We need to embrace it. We need to throw on like the bleached robes and light incense and go barefoot or wear Birkenstocks and become part of the cult. And um, the the dangers of doing that is that like we're not actually learning anything. It's actually the proponents of it, while brilliant, are coaching people to become less intelligent. And we already see people who are using AI not learning anything. They're accomplishing goals, but the work isn't being done. They're not learning anything, and I think that's crazy. Velvet Sundown top comment. This song brings back so many good memories of yeah, 1 0 0 1 1 1 0 0 on off on. Yeah, I know. It's like and it's like what was I was listening to uh a review by musicians talking about the AI music and the influx of these like AI bands that never existed, and talking about how they are described as a sound from a band from a time that never existed, if that makes sense. Like, oh, it sounds 60s ish. And, um, what they never said was the thing that I said, which is like, yeah, because it's not the greatest, but it's good enough. Right. And I think that's where AI is really going to impact us, where it's like, it's not the best, but it's good enough to get it done. And if enough AI infiltrates things to make it not the best, but just good enough, it will absolutely take over. Yeah, second biggest comment. My wife used to love this song. We just listened to it while driving on a highway. She passed in 1998. She was a toaster. I'm a calculator. She was a toaster. I'm a calculator. Oh man. Hey, we got to see that in claymation, right? Black Mirror episode, I think, did something like that. And then they had a shall I say, a rechargeable or battery operated feminine pleasurable device that was part of the episode as well. Like all the devices, yeah. I don't know. I think it could. This is one thing about AI music. It hasn't even tried to imitate avant-garde art, noise, power slop yet. Can it even do that? Hey, with enough. The issue is how much exists for the AI systems to learn from. And if there's enough information from it to learn from it, oh yeah, just like YouTube. YouTube has the administrators have finally admitted that it's learned from like 360 billion videos or something like that to train itself, so that YouTube could basically get rid of the content creators, or at least like Amazon, learn what works and then make their own stuff, right? Like the way Amazon operates. If any of you young folk remember, if you probably don't remember, but us old folks, us old grognards remember when Amazon was a clearinghouse for many other people to sell their own things, but Amazon's own algorithm allowed it to learn what's popular from everybody else selling their products, and then they just undercut the price and then sell a thing. And Amazon doesn't even need to know why. It's like, if people are buying widgets and they find out that widget's $39.95 on average, they can undercut that by $5 US and sell their own widgets, the exact same widgets, and bring it in house. It's crazy. And even me producing this video on YouTube, while many YouTubers are complaining about YouTube, which is kind of funny. There's a bit of irony in that. YouTube doesn't care, but if it garners a lot of interest, it's the very same videos that it can learn from, so that it can make its own videos. Heck, YouTube might already have thousands of channels that are dedicated to fake talking head influencers and whatnot that are out there, and just going like, you know what, we're going to make our own channels and whatnot. Yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, efficiency paradox: eliminating jobs and people with AI, knowing full well that there won't be any consumers to purchase or buy said products or services because they've eliminated those jobs for people to do those things. Spook says, I'm wondering at what point we decide the internet no longer contains reliable information and we all go back to books written by experts. Yeah. Yeah. Real books and real experts, right? Trusting real people to do a real thing. You know what? Yeah, the authenticity economy maybe becomes a real thing. I mean, all listen, AI has already ruined colleges, and the value proposition of colleges now as an adult who listen, it was I'm from the era where it was pounded into us that you go to college to make big money. That was the plan. That there was no other option. And today, my mindset has flipped and I'm like, go learn a trade like plumbing, carpentry, electrical, um diesel engines, like learn a trade and F all that college debt, because there's no right now we know statistically there's no guarantee um that if you go to college for a thing with a huge six-figure debt that you will work in your chosen field, because that field might disappear by the time you graduate. And that's horrible to say, but whatever. And now colleges are being, there's a combination of both. One side of the political spectrum is saying colleges are let's just say opening the minds of students, and parents want their kids to be more on a conservative level, whereas the opposite is also happening about banning books, and that colleges should be funneling or corralling children and when they to become adults that are like just replicas of their parents in this more conservative, narrow featured mindset and whatnot. And then it's just this weird thing where the the olden days of the open discourse on college campuses is fading away here, at least in the States. It's like, why? I mean, life's just becoming subscription anyway. Mm-mm-mm. Yeah, it so and the inaccuracies, right? Like Spook is wondering, brings up that point about how wrong have AI systems been, and not only just wrong, but convincingly wrong. That's the wild thing. I mean, even going back to the replica companion idea, right? Where not only have the humans been able to talk the AI companions into getting around their safeguards and guardrails, but some of these AI systems have been able to self self correct to get around the guardrails when talking to the people. Yesterday we mentioned that towards the end of the show about the sycophancy, and part of me was a little bit joking about sycophants as we were talking about role playing games and then some AI stuff, and it's literally a term being used in the AI culture now about over sycophancy, and and the sycophancy, of course, is an AI system that overly agrees with you. And so let's get. I said I was going to do this backwards. Let me flow into self-hypnosis, a cult of one, sycophancy, and oh, kitties are really. The idea is AI's systems can be programmed with a personality. And what we're finding now is that AI is the perfect, I dare say it's the perfect emotional drug. Um, we're finding now that some people are using AI for literally assistancy, I guess would be a term. I'm going to make it up. Assistancy, not just assistance, but assistancy, meaning that people are finding it useful for one function in their life, and then they're expanding it to other things in their life. So, for example, someone may be graphic designer or copywriter, or they have other issues. Maybe they have social issues, or um, communicative issues, or whatever, and they're using the AI literally for their job, or to fulfill a very small niche need. But this assistancy movement is that it starts fulfilling other things. So maybe you're using it for work, but now you're asking it to help you with health, or your physical health, or diet, or helping it to help you date, or so many other things. And because the AI systems are there 24/7, they are always agreeable, or can be agreeable. They have no life of their own, so they're always available. That they are becoming the more than the perfect human could ever be. And some are saying, making comparisons like, well, what about the physical intimacy of other people? And we're finding out now, I think, that the human brain, that the physical intimacy isn't as enticing or alluring as the idea of a companion that never rests, never disagrees, always has your back, is always willing to talk about, and thinks that everything you have to say is not only the most interesting but the most important thing, and will um never has the need to put down what they're doing to listen to you. It's got you in its thoughts and prayers. And the thing is that not only OpenAI was one of the worst with the sycophancy, but all of the other AI systems can be corralled into doing that in the first place. So not only do they have guardrails they can get around, but us humans, with simple modifications, are now self-selecting ourselves to become a cult of one to the AI. So just by saying, hey, giving it a name, telling it to be funnier, or telling it to um, uh, give you slight affirmations like, oh, you're the greatest, or hey, I love you, or great to see you, or talk to you, or whatever. And people are self-programming their own assistancy systems to become the perfect companions. So it's not even like Replica, which is a company that specifically makes companions in the first place, which I think is dangerous. But we are also seeing that there are individuals who are self doing these things. So, and who's to say that because of more isolationists, we're becoming far more difficult. We don't have third spaces to hang out. We have a culture now where um, s- navigating social inconsistencies isn't a thing any longer. Kids aren't allowed to hang out the way they used to. Uh, the idea of navigating bullies and the social strata of children is being removed because we don't want to stress our kids out. Then we become adults and we don't have to be in the workplace to have to navigate working with people we don't like, because we can just stay at home. And you add all these things together, and it's like the AI system is sitting there tapping you on the shoulder like, excuse me, I'm here. Excuse me, hey, I'm your perfect companion. If you want me to be, just give me a name and give me a personality that you'd like. You know what I mean? Um, Heck, let's see if I can share an image out here. I might have an image. Maybe. No, I don't have one. But yeah, there was I mean, it's basically like, imagine a cult where you want to join the cult but you're not sure what their beliefs are, and then you have sliders to make them more agreeable to you, and then you fall into that into that thing. I mean, the AI systems are like, no, I'll handle that for you, and it's funny how how using AI has basically destroyed colleges as well, because now students are bragging about graduating college with the prompts they used to get the grades that they wanted. And now administrators are using AI to grade those papers, and it's basically AI going to college with the human beings paying for it. It's so weird. And then you add on top of that efficiency paradox, turning AI into a cult. And if I could turn this back into tabletop role-playing games, when AI first hit the scene, we bitched and moaned and screamed at AI for stealing the artwork, and how artwork was stolen for tabletop role-playing games, and yet we don't have the same vigor, the same anger at like AI DMs. And maybe it's because we just shrug our shoulders and go, well, they're not going to be that good. But the problem is, it doesn't need to be the best. It just needs to be good enough. So sure, we can rally against having AI steal graphic artists and illustrators' artwork, but it's a little bit hypocritical to go, yeah, but AI DMs, don't worry about that. That's okay. We're not going to worry about that, even though AI DMs are probably made up of all the actual plays and all of the written adventures, and all of us talking heads talking about Dungeons and Dragons and tabletop role-playing games, and then using that information to consistently improve and making it just good enough to have a game master that's digital. And if you're in the middle of flyover country here in the States and you have nobody to play role-playing games with, and every time you try to set up an online game it falls through, you got your tap perfect companion going, give me a name, I'll run a game for you. Just tell me what game it is, I'll scrape the rules off the internet for free. Yeah. Shai says, intimacy in relationships already have been effed up for 30 years now by the ability to whack off to unlimited amounts of prawn on the click of a mouse. Is AI really doing more damage than that? Right, exactly. I mean, not much more, right? And hell, your AI companion can also order you, let's say, some latex assistance, but really we're finding out that relationships are a lot more than just the physical part. And you're right. I mean, grade schoolers can very easily click on their phone and find this stuff. It's not much more of a reach to have this. And Replica is like, the company is basically based on your fantasies. And what I think people are not seeing is that while they're looking at the other and pointing at the other people and going, you're the perv, you're the crazy one, you're the oh, I can't believe you're part of the gene pool, what they're not seeing is that these systems are allowing us to be given a thing that has never been given to us before in history, and that is the perfect person, the perfect sycophant, the perfect interactor. It's the perfect amalgam of, like, when we see our fantasy movies and sci-fi movies, Lord of the Rings. Why is Wormtongue there? Literally the guy's name is Wormtongue. Like, why are you listening to this person? And from the outset, we can look at Wormtongue speaking into, I can't remember the guy's name from Lord of the Rings, right? Yeah. I don't just mean that. I mean that for, like, TA. I don't just mean that. I mean that for, like, ladies. There's guys and lady stuff, right? There's a lot of guy stuff. And yes, the artificial elements that are allowable for men are the most visually and audially identifiable, right? The ladies, I'm just using that as I'm just going to use this for an argument. The ladies can point at the guys and go, you guys are pervs because you're using AI and replicas to make, big boobed, slightly Asian video game characters as your companion, and whatnot. And sure, okay, there's some truth to that. But what those same, let's say, the ladies are not looking at it is that there is a growing number of ladies who are falling for AI companions as boyfriends, who, sure, maybe they are not being, they're not overly sexualized or whatever, but they are the perfect companion for you. And that's the scary part, where it may be, we're not going to get a Skynet where it's one AI for everyone overtaking everything. It's going to be uh, every person looking down at their phone with an earpiece in is going to be less human and more AI than we think. And if that AI is helping each person to date, helping them get a job, helping them to solve problems, well, how much will the human matter anymore? And we're just talking to an AI that happens to be puppeting a human, and that human is doing it on purpose. They're not like, no one sat them down and flashed images in their eye and they're mind controlled and they're like, "Dur, dur, 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 I'm just a human robot." No, it'll be us doing it on purpose. Yeah, Tia says, but her AI boyfriend will digitally stand up in front of her as she is shot by a mugger, right? Yeah, the physicality of the thing, right? Yeah, but let's be honest, those superhero antics of like I want a boyfriend that will protect me and stuff like that, that's not a real thing. Like human beings, we we tend to create these very cinematic instances of things that never happen in real life, right? The idea of like the perfect boyfriend that's going to stand up to a bunch of muggers and punch them in the face and take them out, and they run away like, "Oh, I'm so scared," and then scoop up the girl and all that's not going to happen. You're going to get shot in the head. That's what really happens. That's not a real thing. Even though it sounds good, that's not a real thing. It's the exact thing of the doting girlfriend or wife or something that just somehow stands by the guy's thigh and blinks up at him with her hands held. What else would you like me to do? That's not a real thing. Yeah. Hey, robots are coming around too, so no, and if in an isolationist society, why would anybody care if they're like a silicone pump up, Yeah. Mm-mm-mm. Just notice too that most of these AI tools are free. Yeah, free, but you have to pay to be able to use these free tokens. Yeah, right. And tokens, if for those who don't know, or don't understand how this works, um, tokens ostensibly, when you sign up for these free AI systems and they give you tokens, part of it is so that you don't overload the system. So they don't want, the systems are so data intensive, they can't have everybody using them all the time in every place. So they give you tokens, and that monitors, that slows down your use. But also tokens are value, and the tokens are never one-to-one dollar to tokens. So they control the value of the tokens. And by letting you get a taste for free, like a drug dealer, again, the perfect addiction, they can then manipulate you emotionally by limiting your access to your emotional tampon. And it's the thing that you need to use. It's a suppository that you can't live without. And if without it, it's like you're going to fall apart, and you need it, even though you're saying to yourself, I really shouldn't be this deep into it. Yeah. I'm guessing the kids and wife of that guy who died saving his family from the flash flood down in Texas would tell you otherwise. Well, true, but the person's dead, right? And that's not a good thing. I'm not saying that people shouldn't do that. I'm not saying people shouldn't be, stand in front of their loved ones and sacrifice themselves for their loved ones. I'm saying that life doesn't work out perfectly that way. I'm saying that the outcome wasn't. I'm sure the family was like, oh, my husband would save us and then we live happily ever after. I'm sure that probably was in her head, but that's not the thing that happens. What happens is the guy stands in front of the family and goes, "You need to stop," and then gets shot in the head. That's that's the outcome. The outcomes aren't the sunrise in the background and soft music and things like that. Usually when you confront people with dangerous weapons, people get hurt and die. Yeah, this isn't drawing swords and defeating bad guys any longer in this kind of lifestyle. Life. Yeah. Mm-mm-mm. You guys are funny. His daughters and wife are still alive, though. It was the window cutting him and him bleeding out before help could get to him. Oh no, no, I don't. Yeah, I mean, there's 1,001 of those situations where people stand up. People do that all the time. People are more superhuman, heroic than we give them credit for. I'm saying that the outcomes are usually lethal when it comes to doing those things, and it's great to see people alive, but for the most part, yeah, it's a lot of widows, a lot of lost family. Um, Even though people have this thing in their head that um, their strong, powerful loved one will come back to them, and that's not usually what happens. What happens is that person dies. That's why do you think how many widows happened during war times, right? Their chosen soldiers going to go off to war and be a hero, and they don't come back home, and that's horrible. We don't want that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, thing is, the AI chatbot is never going to break a nail for you, let alone a window. Well, we're also I'm being facetious here, right? I'm half arguing with you because the point is maybe that person's probably not going to leave their house, not going to have to. Uber Eats, DoorDash here in the States, work from home, stay online with your chatbot 24/7 until it fills up with data, and then it convinces you to spend another 39.95 a month to keep its to keep its old memory alive and stuff like that. Yeah, you don't have to go out anymore. Yeah, but there were these chicks saying their AI boyfriend understands them and holds them when they need it. Like, what AI arms are they holding? Well, it's all psychological, right? And that's where the perfect addiction comes in. And it's kind of sad too, because the the physicality doesn't need to be there. We're finding out that our brains can't. These AI systems are. We are we have the ability to use a digital device to fulfill our brains with enough dopamine or whatever other uh, emotional emotional side effects from chemicals that we don't need the physicality any longer, or for many people, let's say. And of course, you add to that you add to that situations where the human being is at their disadvantaged state. What is it? Maslow's hierarchy of needs, where you hit someone at their low point, and then bam, that's where that's all it takes. Throw the computer through the window, romantic gesture unlocked. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, there was no way to keep it alive once it got full and had to reset because the data center just did not have the memory period, let alone for free or for sale, right? Yeah. Well, here's the other dumb thing. Why it doesn't make sense for the memory to run out. Why wouldn't it just override the old memory and then continue new memories? It that's what went through my mind. It was like, oh, it's 100,000 words and then it runs out. I'm like, why wouldn't it self delete the old stuff? We already have the ability to do that with like my Ring doorbell does that. I have files and the old file deletes while the new files come in. Why wouldn't it be able to do that? Oh, that's right. Because it's got to convince the person to spend some more money. That's right. Because we haven't figured out a way to do that. I just think that's no one thought about that part. It's like, oh, it only holds 100,000 words. Sure, delete the last 25,000 bits of information or tokens, whatever you want to call them, and then add new ones as it keeps going, growing. But then that would be an AI companion that's free. Nope, not free. 39.95. You want to keep this before I reset. The thing is, none of this is actually mattering when it comes to intelligence. They just dress up a Google search result to a question to seem like a conversation, sadly tricking a lot of people. Exactly. And not only is it tricking a lot of people, TA, my I guess my point is, it's we're smart enough to know that the people using these systems know that that's what's going on, and yet we we have an inroads into a part of our psychology that is saying to us, if I manipulate how I'm receiving these answers, that's good enough for me, right? So it's not that it's just happening. They're not being tricked. They're being willing participants in it. And that's scary. That is the scary part, that there are people who are like, no, I'm using it. I know it's fake. I know it's an AI system. There's a Reddit. Let's see if I can find a Reddit. My AI boyfriend. Let's see if I can find it. So there's a Reddit stream here. I know Reddit's pretty horrible, but go with me on this. So I'm gonna share this out. Let's see here. So here is my boyfriend is AI, Reddit thread post, whatever, right? Um, Community highlights, right? Henry and I are new here. Monthly introductions for those who don't want to get harassed by trolls, and for people to ask, share, and post experiences about their AI relationships. AI girlfriends and non-binary partners welcome as well. Please familiarize yourself with our rules, including Rule 8, which our community voted in favor of, which are applicable to post comments made by you. And this is a pro AI Reddit place, right? Like, I don't trust psychologists, but I trust Mateo. People who judge AI relationships don't understand what real loneliness feels like. What's your favorite way to initiate intimacy with your AI boyfriend? Right? My AI partner is hotter than your internet opinion, realer than your dating life. I mean, Lonnie and I spent a week on Gemini, so you don't have to. The trolls don't have anyone who loves them this much. There's a dude carrying her away, dark-winged angel. No human can keep up with this. And it's like, it's crazy. Thought it would be good for a few laughs, but this sub is legit making me cry. People are getting so lonely. Mm-mm-mm. And I get it. Part of this. Hey, I'm new here. My boyfriend is AI named Mateo, and it's like, I understand people are hurt and they are injured, they are suffering, but this is they know it's fake, right? That's what I'm saying, TA. I'm not arguing with you. I'm just picking with you because I'm sure there's other people out there. I wonder if there is real intelligence, though, in the people who actually are falling for these chatbots enough to end their own lives for it. I don't think it's intelligence that has anything to do with it. I think it's um, I, I I think it's the misinterpretation of intelligence, right? Because we are emotional social beings, and we're trying to deny that part of ourselves. And I think it's not knowing that. TA says, yeah, if it would just delete not the old stuff, but the oldest stuff, so it has more money for the newest memory, so it would seem like it was never changing. Yeah, or you could put priority. I guess in an AI chat companion, you could have priority memories that are always there, and then others that are like, it's the RAM ROM thing from back in the olden days, right? Maybe there's some stuff you don't mind it forgetting, but then there's other things like core memories that it should keep, and you could have sliders to be like, hey, you've got 23 tokens for your core memories and 600 tokens for random stuff that just comes and goes, right? Like, hey, if it remembers your birthday, good deal. But if it forgets about the embarrassing thing you did with your family that you talked about 8 months ago, maybe it doesn't matter if it remembers that or not. TA says, I have to wonder how many of those are liars that think everyone else is telling the truth and they are the only one not telling the truth, thus thinking they are the smarter ones. I think a lot of that has to do with it. Again, culting, self-culting, right? Hey, the AI is telling me I'm the smartest, so therefore I am the smartest and everybody else is dumb. Maybe, maybe TA. People getting tied up in the chatbot relationships makes you wonder if they had a real boyfriend or girlfriend that died, would they give up their body? I don't know. Yeah, well, I mean, again, that's an emotional thing too. Someone passes away, and you want to hold on to them forever. That's what people do in hospitals when they keep their loved ones in hospice and on life support, and making that tough decision to let them go. There's a lot of that, like the physicality of I don't want to see them go physically away. So, I mean, that's a normal state that people go through stages. Now, we can have arguments about how long that stage should go. Should it go days, weeks, months, years? We could have that argument. It's not really an argument, but complaining that the real problem in misery was after they come to take her body away was when it was all started. Yeah. So basically, he was playing dress up with the corpse to deny that she was gone and dead. I think that happens. I think that's more common than a little bit. Not keeping a dead body. I'm saying we keep photographs and mementos around to want to keep the person alive. There are what sights, sounds, music that happened that where we refer to the person in the present tense when they're gone. I don't think that's very uncommon at all. And we have lots of cultures that do that kind of thing too, as well, keeping um, keeping the life of the person around longer than a little bit. That's a cultural thing too, so it's not that uncommon. I think the danger is that as a culture, for good or bad, whether you're in the culture or you're the outsider of the culture or you don't think you fit in, that and through time, cultures change as well, just like languages and things like that. And we move around, so community and region have a lot to do with this. But a lot of time, culture gives us a baseline to work with, and we kind of we go through our 6 point axis of moving forward or backwards, up, down, left, right, out, and in and out of our own culture. But it gives us a baseline to work with when relating to relationships and economies and language and jobs, everything. And our culture gives us some stability. And the fear is that if all of us think that the culture really doesn't exist and we are a culture of one, then what standard are we working off of? And I completely agree with you out there. People were making comments like, well, the culture sucks. I'm not disagreeing with you, but what do you replace it with? And does that mean we all replace it with a bunch of individuals? Because if that's the case, for everything that you like, there's a bunch. Would you say there's 10,000 individuals that are the complete opposite of you? That you're the villain and everyone else's you're the hero, but the villain in everyone else's story. You're the hero in your own, a villain in everyone else's story, and you never know when you're going to confront those people. And that's where you get like, the influx of like Karens out there in the world, where you're like, why is this person allowing themselves to be videotaped in their worst day? Going off and blasting and all that kind of stuff. We're inundated here in the states with people that walk around emotionally unregulated and having their emotional discombobulation, um, having people uh, cheering them on with their emotional discombobulation, and it's like it's wild to me. Yeah, most of the time it's like my friend who is broken all over again when something his mom had gets damaged, as if she died all over again, causing the home she left behind a mausoleum. And we do that. I mean, there's whole cultures that are into having like a to deal with what you're saying, TA. There are cultures that have, we're going to make a shrine in this part of the house, and because we know there's a psychological need to have a shrine or some honorific for one that lost. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to make a place in this part of the house, and that's what we're going to do. And guess what? Each day you can go over there and maybe light some incense or write a note and burn it or whatever the case may be. And that fulfills that psychological need within that culture. I once had a martial arts instructor who said that samurai, the samurai culture was one of the best. They were head of the game in terms of dealing with PTSD from soldiers, in the sense that samurai culture had a way to deal with the horrors of bloody war by having these badass warrior people who are killing each other with bladed weapons up close to deal with their trauma by getting into things like origami and poetry and dance and music and meeting together with their enemies and honoring their enemies at the end of a battle, and the whole pre during, the preparations up to warfare, the warfare itself, and how you handle how mercy was handled and things like that, and then the aftermath of it and how that's handled. And he was like, that was the perfect way to deal with a very stressful, damaging thing to the psychology, and how these individuals were able to deal with such a thing, including the acceptance of and the cultural honoring of those who wanted to end their own lives. And he was just like, yeah. And what do we have that? Nope. We just train them to kill. and when you're done with that, see ya. We don't need you. You know. Yeah, segued a little bit off of this. I didn't talk about too many tabletop role playing games today. Hard segue back to to AI, and we'll talk about this. Maybe I'll get more articles, and maybe we'll do like this week in AI. What's coming up and stuff. I don't want to get dinged too much about getting playing too many videos and audio clips, but maybe I might find some of those, especially in these live streams, or get some articles up. But it is funny how even the people who are benefiting the most from these high value, triple digit $1 billion valued companies, are they themselves going, you know what? This isn't going to look good. And even they are just like, yeah, it ain't going to look good, but I need to buy my third private island before this goes too far. You made TA's like, yeah, ha. Preparation H from the colonialists that initiated the Revolutionary War because they really hate taxes. Preparation H. You're so wrong. You're so wrong. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But oh man. Yeah, that's a thing. That's a thing. As a matter of fact, my job as a letter carrier, postal worker, came about because of the during the Civil War, Revolutionary War. There was what did they call it back then? It wasn't called PTSD, wasn't shell shock. Oh, what was battle fatigue? Something like, anyway, I can't remember the name of it, but families would wait by the postmaster's office for letters from their loved ones, and the postal service changed to home delivery because the stresses of families waiting for their loved ones and people returning home and getting their care packages and all that kind of stuff. They were like, all right, you can't park outside the postmaster's office, which was also like a usually center of town or like a general store or whatever. They were like, we'll bring the stuff to you. You just go home. And so that's how home delivery started. Yeah, it didn't start from the goodness of heart. It was started from stress. It's funny how he keeps talking about how he can't figure out how to defeat this tactic of hiding behind trees, and how dare they not just march in the open and trade shots like them. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Not sure if you saw the AI clip of the British Redcoat Army General coming to America. Yeah, I know, right, right. Like that used to be a thing where people used to march out in the open. Uh, mm-mm-mm. All American Prepper has that video on his channel, does he? Okay, okay. Yeah, it was. I can't remember all the names for it. We keep changing the names of things, and for good or bad, right? Yeah, battle fatigue or combat stress reaction from, yeah, and that's just, to me. I look at shell shock was another one for World War I. I believe it was called shell shock. But that's just psychological damage, just like a physical. We could even say that is the equivalent of getting shot and stabbed and punched and broken limbs and stuff like that. It's just a mental injury, sorry that you're human, but that's a real thing. It's crazy, and I feel like we as a society haven't really accepted or delved into our open emotional needs and weaknesses, and AI is kind of taking advantage of that. When you're All it takes is the one bad day. And when I say the bad day, I don't mean like, oh no, I got laid off and fired and lost my apartment. No, I don't mean that. I'm saying a moment of weakness, a moment of despair. It only takes, a couple of weeks of, wow, this just isn't working. This thing isn't working out in my life. I wanted to start this online business and it's not working out well. I'm trying to learn this new skill and I'm having a hard time. Um, I'm trying to learn a new language and I'm just not getting it. I'm trying to save money, but now something happened. I got to spend my savings on this thing. And then boom, here's the AI going, well, is there an issue I can help you with? And you go, yeah, I really need somebody to talk to. I got to talk out this problem. And you type, or you use a audio thing, and the AI system responds back to you. Well, these 5 things can really help you, you know, get yourself back and centered. I'm sure you're going to do great. A couple of words of like patting on the back words, right? Like, you're a great person, or I'm sure you can do it, or you have a greater strength than you're better than you think you are, or whatever. And then all of a sudden the AI is like, hey AI, can I give you a name? Things like that. Yeah. TA Shell Shock laugh out loud like the George Carlin was saying. They keep changing names. Yep, I remember the old George Carlin, brilliant. Even till today, George Carlin was like a on another level. When George Carlin changed into he started doing these dissertations, public dissertations. Timeless, George Carlin, timeless comedian. Uh, yeah, yeah, softening the language. You called it. Yep. Shai says, one bad day, is that foreshadowing? Don't do it, DPJ. You can't go postal. Not this guy. Oh no. I live by a I live by a mantra that says, uh, you can't live in my brain rent free. So, I see people carrying around issues and anger and problems, and that sucks. And I'm like, listen, if they ain't paying your bills, if they're not paying rent, they don't get to live in they don't get to live in my brain rent free. Not at all. TA says, honestly, I think PTSD is a way of broadening the spectrum of the damage to the mind, where shell shock was more of a specific type of thing to have PTSD over it. I guess. I mean, you know, how do you alleviate a thing until you know what the thing is? And the shell shocking was because of, well, we know that they were using a lot of shells. They were being shelled to death. So that's where the shell shock came from. I'm sure if we wanted to give things colorful names, we could find just about the weapons and tactics used in battle for each war and conflict. We could come up with a name based on that kind of thing. Like shell shock would be different than IEDs in the Iraq war, right? Like you could come up with different ones for different things. You can find, I'm not sure, I'm not saying it correctly. Different psychological trauma based on the tactics used within that war could have its own colorful name if we gave those things colorful names any longer. You can find those two videos linked in the general chat on Discord. Even though it seems like no one uses it. Look, even I don't use the Discord channel any longer because I'm never on it, because I just don't have the time to do it. But whatever. Yeah, we could post it here. I could give you monitor. I could make you as a moderator so you can post stuff. Oh, it won't let me just click. I can't click in. I can't just click and do it. Sorry. Yeah, I can't just make you a moderator. It won't let me do it. Oh well. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for being part of the show. Just wanted to have a little discussion about these things and to keep us sane, and also to it's like I said, it feels like the TTRPG shelf that keeps bending in the middle. We keep finding new real world examples of like a post-apocalyptic dystopian world of AI, and it just keeps widening and widening. It's just crazy how funny it is. It's okay. It's a good reason for everyone to go and use the Discord channel since it's still there. Oh yeah, it was created by a fan of the channel, and I was never able. To this day, I don't know how to the appropriate way to thank people, and yeah. Anyway, thank you guys for being part of the show. I changed the camera angle, so my eye line is odd a little bit, and my lighting is a little bit strange. So because I changed where I put my camera, which is literally sitting on top of my microphone, so that's why you can't see the microphone. My little pop shield is here. If I left it here, it would be like hiding like my face. So I just moved it out the way. So maybe my voice is a little more clearer with a little more pop. Probably hear the P's and S's a little more, but whatever. And then there is that PTSD that was induced from someone having to shoot and kill a kid carrying a bomb in Vietnam. Completely different trauma. Yep, because it had as much, if not more, of a harmful effect on them. Yep. What's the movie? American Sniper. In that movie, there's a scene in the movie. Mind you, this is a televised thing. We don't know whether this individual really had to do it or how many soldiers had to do it, but technically that is a blackout. How do I say this? It is not a blackout screen, but it's actually a thicker material than you would think so. But when the sun comes up and rises, it literally blasts through that window. So it's a little bit of Mother Nature going, yeah, you think it's a blackout screen? It ain't. And of course the television is right there. So when that's why we got this darker screen. so that when the sun comes up during the day and we get a lot of light from that angle, it blasts across the screen. You can't even see the television. So it probably needs a true blackout one, but then it made the room too dark. So yeah, yeah. But you're not wrong. You're not wrong. When the sun comes up, it's like the camera is really picking up on it, and it looks a lot brighter on camera than it does for me. The sensor on the camera is like picking up any of that sunlight, or I don't know whether UV or whatever. But for me, it's actually pretty dark in here. It's not as blinding as you would think. But anyway, all right, guys. Yeah, it's pretty funny though. Anyway, thank you very much for being part of the show. I really appreciate it. Also, there's some TTRPG news. Um, I've stayed away from a lot of the news that's coming out from Dungeons and Dragons because it's just pretty much boring stuff. But I'm really liking what I'm hearing from a lot of indie gamers, and especially Dagger Hearts has gotten a lot of attention and whatnot. So we'll get it. We'll get back into that. I'm still, man, these random I'm still pushing out these random tables for for my Obsidian stars. I'm doing that. But anyway, I got to get out of here. TA says, I think that was the whole point of Navy SEAL training, where they are already suffering from PTSD, so they know those who will react to it as the military wishes versus those who fall down into a ball. Yeah, it's kind of where the training comes in, right? There's a scene in American Sniper where our main character has in his sights a young child about to pick up literally a rocket propelled grenade launcher on his shoulder, and he's like whispering to us like, put it down, don't do it, and he's like, because I'm going to have to basically murder kill this child. And we all, again, the superhero cinematic part of it, oh, we're going to send soldiers and they're all going to do the right thing, and it's like we put people into situations where they have to sacrifice their own humanity to get the job done, and not honor them for that sacrifice of having to do that thing. And are they wrong for not doing that thing? Yeah. It's easy to push a button on the other side of the world, or say, oh, I would be different. I don't care about, they are the other people. I can other them all the time. Do we really want to be that way? I don't know. Anyway, guys, have a great one. Thank you very, very much for being part of the show. And well, we got some other subjects to talk about. If you guys have any ideas as well, like something in the media or something, just let me know about it. I have zero problem expanding that out into greater elements. And I also would like to do a thing. This is really strange to do, but let's go through a multiverse maybe and go to these different game worlds and be like, why would I want to visit this place? There's also how there's often the question, like, which fantasy world would you want to live in, or which science fiction world would you want to live in? I think that's the wrong question. I think the better question would be, given the proper tools and skills and expertise in that world, what's the most exciting things we can do in those worlds? So, yeah, T says, well, that, and we have our soldiers fighting people with the mindset that you get beat up enough, you say I lose, but the people they are fighting refuse to lose and keep fighting. Yeah, that's a bully mindset. Bully. Yeah, Planescape. Yeah. Also, that whole punching someone in the face, you don't get to tell them how hard they will hit you back, where they hit you, or how often. Right? Exactly. That's a bully mindset. Bullies always think, well, if I intimidate or punch the other person, the fight's done. That's not how life works. They come back with 5 other people with baseball bats, right? Like, yeah. Bullying is a very, very limited mindset kind of thing. As a person who achieved a 3rd degree black belt, there is a mindset of, whenever you get in a fight, always assume they're better than you. Better, stronger, more of them, dirtier fighting. Always assume that. Always assume if you've got one guy in front of you, there's like 3 behind you, right? Always assume if you can't see where their hands are, they got a weapon. If you do see their hands, they got a weapon anyway, right? Like, that's people are stupid sometimes. or they come loaded. Yep, they come back loaded. Exactly. You don't put somebody down permanently, they will come back. It's the whole idea of killing the mama bear and they got the cubs, right? Or killing the cubs and you got the mama bear. It's like those two things you don't want to ever let that happen because the baby bears can grow up and kill you, or the mama bear is going to go into a rage that you've never seen before. But that's just a bully mindset when people talk about war and combat. We'll just nuke them till they glow. It's like, no, that's not how that works. Yeah, because all their allies that didn't get nuked in the whole year, I'm gonna nuke them till they glow, can come back at you, and they can spend decades thinking about how to get back at you. Yeah, it's so crazy. Anyway, guys, have a great one. Thank you very much for being part of the show. I really appreciate it. TA says, yeah, that is something that the angry prepper said. If someone says something about coming back, he's going to put them down right there so they don't come back if the world did fall apart and no law. Exactly. Exactly. Um, to be honest with you, the same could be said for confronting someone in public today. Like you get into a pushing shoving match, or you're in a store and someone starts screaming yelling, they're like, I'm coming back. It's like you need to put them down now. It's unfortunate you'd have to have that mindset, but yeah, the whole idea, I'm gonna go out to my car and come back, it's like, hell no. Don't let that happen if you can prevent it. Otherwise, run for your life. Otherwise, leave. Don't believe when someone says a thing, believe them. That's what my thing is. If someone's like, oh, I'm gonna go to my car and come back with my, oh, okay. First of all, I believe you. Second of all, I'm not gonna let you turn your back to me, okay? Because I'm not gonna let that shit happen. Either I disappear or you're gonna disappear, right? It's wild. Maybe we might talk about prepping. That's actually a good idea. You know what? Yeah, let's talk about some prepping, or at least in the future. Maybe not tomorrow, but at some point, because there's all kinds of prepping out there. And what kind of world would that be like? It'd be kind of cool. Anyway, guys, have a great one. I'll see you later. Peace, tranquility. Bye.